Okay. Yes. John, go ahead and do this one too.
The Namo Fundamental Sakyamuni Teacher Sakyamuni Buddha.
Yeah. 3 times. You can do 3 times.
Namo Fundamental Teacher Sakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Sakyamuni Buddha.
Okay.
Namo
Let's go to the next one. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead and do the next one.
The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma. In 100,000 million eons, it's difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one true natural meaning.
Okay, that's good. Okay, today I quickly go through here, and we will tackle the thing that we want to tackle. Okay. Last time we learned about this one right here. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think it's we have learned this thing, right? The Kuka Sakaka. This is fourth course, and let me summarize quickly here before we continue. Actually, there was a very popular Sakaka, the Nigantha son, who was dwelling in the Sivali, a debater. He well regarded by many people, and that's why he make a statement like, I see no contemplative native or Brahmin, the head of an order or the head of a group, or even one who claimed to be an Arhat, rightly self-awakened, who engaged in debate with me, would not shiver, quiver, shake, and break out in sweat under armpit. Even if I were to engage Sanders thumb in debate, it engage with me in debate, would shiver, quiver, and shake, to say nothing of a human being. Wow, he's very arrogant. He very he think that he number one, right? So and when he met Master, that means Venerable Asachi, and Venerable Asachi, this is the first one of the first fire Buddha disciple, and also this is the first teacher of the Venerable Sariputta. That means before the Venerable Sariputta become a Buddha disciple, he met Venerable Asachi, which was his first teacher. Basically, due to this short teaching, the Sariputta be able to attend the first stage of in Arhat. So basically, and you know what? He asked Asachi that what's your teacher teaching about, and so basically, Venerable Asachi respond that okay, hold on. Okay, form is inconstant. That means impermanent. Feeling is inconstant. Perception is inconstant. Gratification. This is what we call mental formation. Inconstant. Consciousness is inconstant. And form is not self, feeling is not self, perception is not self, gratification are not self, consciousness is not self. All the gratification are instant, all the phenomenon are not self, and this is the way in which the plus one disciple, his disciple, this part of the plus one instruction is generally presented to his disciple. So due to that, you know what, that means Sakaka, he said that, you know what, this kind of teaching is a wrong view. It's an evil view. Basically, that's what he tried to accuse the Buddha. And you know what, he want to debate with the Buddha, so to teach him the lesson. That's what he wants. He very strong in this thing. And let's see how things go. We also all the way to here. Now I think it's time we that he will meet the Buddha, I guess. Okay, this here. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Tammy, you want to read this one for me? Then sum up the.
Then some of the Lakavas said, "Who is Gautama, the contemplative, that he will refute the statement of Saka the Najathan son? It's Saka the Najathan son who will refute the statement of Gautama, the contemplative." Some of the Likavists said, "Who is Saka the Najatha son, that he will refute the statement of Gautama the contemplative?" It's Gautama the contemplative who will refute the statement of Saka the Natharan son. So Saka the Natharan son, surrounded by 500 Likavists, went to the Gabbled Hall in the Great Forest. Now on the occasion, a large number of monks were doing walking meditation in the open air. So Saka the Najatha son went up to the monks and said, "Where, masters, is Master Gautama now? We want to see Master Gautama." The Blessed One, Agravazina, having plunged into the great forest, is sitting under a certain tree for the day's bidding.
Okay. All right, thank you. Tang Thi, you want to do the next one?
Yeah, Thầy. Then Sakaka and Nikanda's son, together with a large group of Latavis, plunged into the great forest and went to the Blessed One. On arrival, he extended courteous greeting with the Blessed One. After an exchange of friendly greeting and courtesy, he set to one side. Some of the Litavis, having bowed down to the Blessed One, set to one side. Some of the Litavis extended cordial greeting with the Blessed One, and after an exchange of friendly greeting and courtesy, set to one side. Some of the Latavis, having raised their hand palm to palm in front of the chest, set to one side. Some of Latavis, after announcing their name and crying, set to one side. Some of the Latavis, staying silent, set to one side. As he was sitting there, he said to the Blessed One, "I would like to question Master Gautama on a certain point. If Master Gautama would grant me the favor of an answer to the question." Ask Gavisana as ye see fit. How does Master Gautama discipline his disciple? What part of his instruction is generally presented to his disciples? I discipline my disciple in this way. This part of my instruction is generally presented to my disciples. Form is inconstant, feeling is inconstant, perception is inconstant, fabrication is inconstant, consciousness is inconstant, form is not self, feeling is not self, perception is not self, fabrication are not self, consciousness is not self, all fabrication are inconstant. All phenomena are not self. This Agivesana is the way in which I discipline my disciple. This part
Yeah,
of my instruction.
Okay, go ahead and finish that part.
This part of my instruction is generally presented to my disciples.
So basically, can you be able to summarize quickly what's going on here?
So what I'm seeing is Sakaka, the Niganta-san. So when he went there, he greet the Buddha with respect, just like a few other Nittavas. And some others, Nittavas, don't show respect to the Buddha. They set to one side and they're about to be waiting for this person to question the master about a
So
question.
the debate, for the debate, right? So the Buddha confirmed with him about the same teaching that the same thing with the Venerable Sati said to him, right? Very much the same. So that means form is inconstant. That means it's impermanent. Form, feeling, perception, fabrication. That means the mental formation and consciousness is inconstant. And form is not self, feeling is not self, perception, and so on. Those things is not self. All phenomenon is not self. This is what the Buddha confirmed with the same alignment with his disciple. That means the Venerable Asati told Sakaka, right? Let me help. Do you understand the mental formation? I think a lot of us are confused about this thing here. Let me give you Go Wang Li. Do you think you understand the mental formation?
I remember you addressed as 5.
Yeah, it's one of the 5 aggregate. Right? It's one of the 5 aggregate. That means after the perception, but do you understand what does that mean? Nó gọi là hành nữa cô. Hành á.
Yeah.
So do you know what does that mean? I think it's easy to be confused.
You can.
Yeah, I think it myself at the beginning. I also confused about that too. So let me give you a very simple example so you can be able to remember this thing. When we talking about a mental formation, so in the Alaya consciousness, I use the consciousness only to demonstrate this concept for you. So it will be easier for us to understand if we go in this direction. For example, if the person who have a lot of anger, right? Usually he gets angry very easily, right? So that means in his alaya, all those anger seeds is already in the alaya, and those seeds we don't see it. It's called maybe they are called subconsciousness, because it's not visible, right? So basically, if someone yell at us or insult us, right, or accuse us for with our reason, with our okay. So when they do that, basically that means the ear contact the that person voice, and now also our eye contact that person physical appearance, right? And the mind automatically, that means the brain automatically pay attention to those two objects. That means the form, that means the person appearance as well as the angry sound, right, of that person. And the feeling will arrive quickly. So basically, where the feeling come from, that means the mana consciousness. And what the mana consciousness, why the mana consciousness is, we call the mana consciousness is the emotional affliction. Why with that? Because basically whatever the anger seat right inside the alaya, and this mana, because this is the cell, they have 4 layers of the cell, they attach to those anger seat inside the alaya consciousness in the storage. Therefore, when we hear someone say something hurt our feeling, it triggers the emotion easily. So what did that mean? When they trigger, right, basically the mana consciousness will wrap the data from the alaya consciousness. At the beginning, it's a subconsciousness, right? And when we wrap those data, the mana wrap those data, it will manifest. It will, remember the word manifest. It will manifest the subconsciousness into consciousness. Basically, it's wrap that data and it's give to the mind consciousness. That means the brain. And the brain will load that data into the memory. When it loads into the memory, those data become available. It will become manifest into some kind of consciousness. Therefore, we be able to distinguish, be able to. So basically, the anger will be arrive in some kind of the form. So and you can see the person who anger to their face, right, or whatever, due to the data inside the memory. Does that make sense to you, Tammy, so far?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, manifest, that means the data from the subconscious into conscious on the sixth, the mind conscious, that means the sixth conscious, that is the brain, put into the memory. That's where it becomes the emotion, the anger right there. This is what we call the process of the mental formation. Does that make sense to you, Wanli?
Yes, thầy, I remember.
This is very important. Therefore, yes, we can quiet our monkey mind. Is who are the good meditator, they can be able to quiet the monkey mind from the sick consciousness, but not easy to quiet the mana consciousness, because the mana consciousness is the shadow of the sick consciousness. It's not easy. Does it make sense?
Yes, thầy, I have a question.
Yeah.
So the first 5 consciousness is basically feed into the 6th, which is the mind consciousness. And if we decided that, okay, I see it, but I'm gonna not do anything. I hear it, but it's not gonna impact me. All that, then how effective is it to prevent the mana consciousness to act up?
Okay, good. That is a very good question. Basically, the first 5 consonants, this is very important. That's what I'm doing right now. Is I compile all this thing together. I want to create the emotional model, and it will I will map all this thing into different emotion behavior, and we will learn each behavior with different mind activity throughout the 8 consciousness. That's what I'm trying to put together. This will be for both adult as well the young kids. And this is very important. When we understand this, and you understand your mind, how it works, and when we understand it, we be able to transform the affliction of the mind. Because right now we do not understand clearly about how this thing works, right? And when it happened, we could not be able to deal with it at that moment, and that is the tough part. So basically, we need to understand. You know what? In the meantime, I think it's a good idea because I just put together all this thing. I think it's. I will use this thing to share with you guys. I think it's important. Okay, let me. Since we in this mode, it's not bad to but we really miss this thing. But anyway, let's do this. We need to understand the 4 layer of the consciousness. That means the first 5 consonants, the 6 consonants, 7 consonants, and the 8 consonants. Each function clearly. Before I just give you briefly touch on those functions because I don't want to go into detail. It might confuse you at the beginning. But now you already learned with this thing for a while. It's a good idea that we go to each one of this thing. This will help you to answer your question. Okay. All right. So basically, the first 5 consonants, that means the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, right? And when we contact, that means this is what we call the 5 faculties. And when the faculty contact the object, the sense object, right? So basically, it have no ability to distinguish. But you know what? They recognize. For example, when we see a rose flower, it only recognize the rose flower, but without detail. This is what we call direct knowledge. Direct knowledge. I hope that term help. Tammy and Go Wang Li. That help.
Yes.
The direct knowledge, that means there is no judgment from the 6 consciousness. That means when this thing pass, when the data pass to the 6 consciousness, it becomes judgment, and that's where the thinking, the monkey mind, all those things come in. But if we be able to stop at this level, we just see it without have any judgment, then therefore the direct contact is the most important for the one who gain the enlightenment. That means when we do the meditation, right, whenever we see things, right, we do not chase after them. That means we don't allow ourselves. That means we remember in the 5 universal interactive model, the first one we take contact, right? The second one we say the mind pay attention to it. So basically, when we have the contact, we don't allow the attention of the mind. How do we do that? Basically, when we do the meditation, when we see it, right, we pull it back to bring out we bring out attention to our focus on the inhale and exhale, right? That's what we do when we do the meditation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is important. So basically, when we practice, when we discipline our mind in this way, that when we don't allow the monkey and the 6 consciousness that means the data will not be in the short-term memory. Therefore, there is no thinking, no perception, no monkey mind, and that means the mana consciousness have nothing to wrap on. and therefore the mana also will not be involved, right? So far, that helps. I hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Does that help to answer your question, Kuwali?
Yes, but it's not very easy.
I know
To
it's
do.
not easy. If it's easy, then that means we will see a lot of Buddha on the altar, right?
Yes.
Well, it's not easy. That's why it requires a lot of training, a lot of practice, in order well, first of all, we try to quiet our mind, right? It's not easy, but at least we understand it. We try to follow it, and eventually we will. If we don't understand it, of course, we don't know where to start. We never get there anyway. But once we have the roadmap, right, and we start to get into that direction, well, we cannot run, we cannot fly, but we can walk, right? Even though slow, it takes a year, it's okay. It's worth it to try. That's why when the truly cultivator, they practice for many years before they can gain enlightenment. It's not easy, but at least this is the Buddha teaching. He give us the tool. He give us the way. You see, without him, we don't have the GPS. Then how do we go, right? But with his teaching, we do have the GPS. That's what the wisdom represents. Okay. So basically, and also in here, the sensation of the the first five consonants, they do also have the sensation of the physical. That means the body know that, okay, suffer or fun off, right? That means happy. Yeah, the body know when they relate to the physical. This is what represent the physical, the first five consciousness. And also the first five consonants also represent in the three type of the karma, the mind, the mouth, and the body. This is represent the mouth and the body, right? And also when we pray karma, right? We have to use the five consonants to pray karma. The mind only command, but the mind cannot do the work. But the five consonants do the work. That's why good karma or bad karma come from this guy, right? But the decision, the intention from the mind is the most important. But the work is go through this first five consonants. Thang Thiện, you understand so far, Thang Thiện?
Yeah.
Okay, this is very important. And the first five consonants always work in hand with the six consonants. But the six consonant, who is the one who make the decision or determination of the of whatever the first five consonant content take in, right? Apart from the activity of the six consonant, the causal relation of the first five consonant, that means the taste, the sight, the sound, the smell, and all these things. It's just the direct. We call the direct. I call direct knowledge or direct. They call the direct vertical perception. That means without judgment. They call non-judgment. Okay? If there is the absence of the six consciousness, and that's what we should do. We should do. But if that's the case, what do you think? The person who in the coma state, is that the same thing? The six consonant, do you think the six consonant is working when the person in the coma state? cô Hoàng Lý, what do you think?
Personally, I do not think for the person coma that 6 consciousness would be working, because there is no the 5 faculties do not make a contact with those form, sound, smell, or whatever. So if it's not there, nothing for the mind to hang on.
So where the 6 consciousness go? It have to go somewhere, right?
Yes, it's there, but it's not active.
So basically, we will learn about the 6 consciousness later. Okay, let's go to here quickly here. I think I walk you through one time. In the consciousness, right, there are 9 different consciousness levels. I think I remember I told you this one before, but it's not a bad idea to show you one more time. If I have the passage, you see, this is the 9 level of the consciousness. When we're talking about consciousness in Buddhism, only 9 levels, no more, no less. The first level is relate to the desire realm. We remember we have 3 different realms, right? Desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. This is what the Buddhist cosmology. Yeah. The desire realm, that means include the 6 the desire heaven, and plus the human asura, animal realm, hungry ghost realm, and also the hell realm, right? They are under the desire realm, and all these things here represent the first consciousness round. The first, we call the first round consciousness. They call the world of mist, the Weller round. That's what the name of the first consciousness. Okay. This is represent for the one is not yet enlightened. That means the ordinary being, or the mundane being. Yeah. So the second one is they go to the form level. In the form level, the form realm, we have we have 4 different meditation states, right? And each meditation state represents one round of consciousness. The first one we call the separation of the desire, right? That means the one who attends the first meditation state, they call the first dhyana. The first dhyana, this is called the first dhyana. That is the separation round of consciousness. Okay. The second one is the second dhyana. That means the round of. Okay, the first one is that means one day be able to eliminate the desire. That means they have no longer have any kind of desire in the desire realm. They will have the joy from their concentration. Okay. The second one is we call from this one is more the joy comes from the samadhi. It's more deeper than the first joy, because the first joy comes from that when you no longer have a desire here, but this is more deeper. So this is we call the round of joy from producing samadhi of consciousness, and the third one, so on and so on. I just want to give you a different level so you understand this. This is the 9 round of consciousness. And the second round, right? That means this one right here. Okay, the first round, the first 5 consonants, actually they have all 8 different consonants here. You see this? The consonant eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, the mind consonant, the 7, the mana, and the 8 araya. In the desire realm, they have all 8. But in the form realm, right? That means the first meditation state, they have only for the first 5 consonants, they have only 3. That means the eye, the ear, and the body. but they do not have the nose and the tongue. Do you know why? Do you know why? Go on, you know why?
Well, they still can taste and smell.
No, they do not have the ear. No, they do not have the nose and the tongue.
Oh, okay. Because they still have their, I guess their mind still working. I guess the eyes and the ears still see things and hear things, so it trigger.
Okay. Okay, basically, in the desire realm, we use the mouth to eat, right?
Right.
We eat food by the mouth, but in the form realm, from the first meditation state above, they do not eat food, but the way they nutrition their body is the meditation energy. So the meditative energy is the form of the food that they use to nourish their body. They have the eye in the ear because this is what we call the divine eye and divine ear. And this is the body that they have is very adornment, very beautiful based on the meditation state they have. But when they go into deep, that means the first 5 consonants no longer there. That means they in the meditation samadhi. And therefore they do not need to have all these things here. They always in the samadhi state. Mm-hmm. And the third one here, the 4, that means the third round. The second round, the third round, and the 4th round of the consciousness. You see, when you see the P here on the sigma, the mind consonant, that means this is the mind consonant is only partial, use partial. They do not view the whole thing. That means their mind is very subtle, more subtle than the second dhyana. You see that? The more you go up, the more you see that it's more subtle. And you know what? The 7 consonants is always there because this one still here, this one here. And they attach to the alaya consonant. And even the highest one, we say that I think this one should be a P instead of no, because they still attach to the alaya at the cell. That's why they not yet become the enlightened one. Okay. So I just want to share you that. Does that help you, Tammy?
Yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think it's I will stop right here and we continue on our stuff. Or you maybe next week I will continue to the rest of this thing. Everyone here, and I want to share this. This is very important for the later on that we learn about emotional model. Okay. Okay, all right. So the Buddha confirmed that that is the way that he shared his teaching to his disciple. That means all the 5 etiquette is inconstant. That means impermanent and also not self. Right? That's the whole thing. And you know what? The Sakaka, he have a smile on his face, and that kind of smile, he looked down on the master Gautama. That's what he tried to do. All right. John, go ahead and read this one.
A smile occurs to me, Master Gautama. Will it occur to you, I guess Akasana, just as any seed that exhibits growth, increase, and proliferation, all do so dependent on the earth. Or just as any activities requiring strength that are done, all are done in dependent on the earth. In the same way, Master Gautama, an individual with form as self, taking a stance on form, produces merit or demerit. An individual with feelings as self, with perception as self, with fabrication as self, with consciousness as self, taking a stance on consciousness, producing merit or demerit. Then I give some Kasana, are you saying form is myself, feeling is myself, perception is myself, fabrications are myself, consciousness is myself? Yes, Master Gautama, I'm saying form is myself, feeling is myself, perception is myself, fabrications are myself, consciousness is myself, as does this great multitude. See, what does this great multitude have to do with you? Please focus just on your own assertion. Yes, Master Gautama, I'm saying that form is myself, feeling is myself, perception is myself, fabrication are myself, consciousness is myself. Very well then, I give Sana. I will cross question you on this matter. Yes, as you see fit, what do you think? Would a consecrated noble warrior king such as King Pasenadi of Kosala or King Ajatsattu, Vede Habuta, or of Magadha wield the power in his own domain to execute those who deserve execution, to find those who deserve to be found, and to banish those who deserve to be banished?
Okay, that's good. That's good. Can you summarize what you?
I think from like that second paragraph, I've heard before. It's kind of familiar from what I've read before.
Yeah, I think it's this thing we solved over and over again already. Okay, it's okay. Let me explain quickly here. So basically, Sakaka, he tried to give an example of the any seed that it's high pitch grow, increase. All those seeds depend on the earth, right? So basically, what he said is, so form, feeling, perception, gratification, and consciousness. Those. So when we do, when we want to produce the marriage or the marriage, those things have to rely on the five aggregate at the cell. So basically, that's what he tried to debate. And the Buddha want to confirm that that's what he want to say. Basically, are you saying form is my feeling in myself, feeling in myself, perception all the way to consciousness in myself? And he said, yes, Master Gautama. And basically, this is what the Buddha said. Okay, if that's the case, we have to read more down here in order to know more. All right, Tammy, go ahead and read the next.
Yes, Master Gautama, he would wield the power in his own domain to execute those who deserve execution, to find those who deserve to be found, and to banish those who deserve to be banished. Even those oligarch groups such as the Vians and Malins wield the power in their own domains to execute those who deserve execution, to find those who deserve to be found, and to banish those who deserve to be banished. To say nothing of consecrated noble warrior kings such as King Pasanda of Tulsa or King Ajazal Vanputa of Maga. He would weld it and he would deserve to weld it. What do you think, Agavasina, when you say, form is myself, do you wield power over that form? May my form be thus, may my form not be thus. When this was said, Saka, the Nantha son, was silent. A second time, the Blessed One said to Saka, the Nantha son, what do you think, Agavasina? When you say, form is myself, do you wield power over that form? May my form be thus, may my form not be thus.
Okay, good.
When-
Can you okay? So basically, he also silent on the second time. So what the Buddha want to tell him here?
I'm not sure.
Are you not sure? Oh, okay. Go on, Lee. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm not either because there's just so many strange words I don't understand.
Okay.
I know for one thing that that's the conversation between Buddha and that person. And
Sakaka, right? Mm.
he trying to prove that form is not inconstant, feeling is not inconstant. You know, all that contrary to what Buddha said. So, I got that. I'm still pretty lost.
Okay, so basically, the Buddha tried to because basically he said that all the fire aggregate it's myself, right? And the Buddha give an example that at the Buddha time there are many different kings, because in India at that time there are many different small countries around the India continent, right? So those kings also support the Buddha teaching. So basically, the Buddha said that, let's say those king, whatever the king name is, the king of Tasya, of Kochala, the king Ajatasattu. You know this king right here? He the one who killed the king's father. Remember? He put the father in jail and let the father die for starvation, and because he was friend with the venerable Devadatta, right? So anyway, and the Buddha said that if this king right here, and can this king be able to execute the one who deserves of execution, or find those one who to be fined on his own domain? That means on his own country. Of course, yes, because he have power. The king have power, right? And so what does that mean? It means that the Buddha now come back to here. If you say that form is myself, and do you have willpower over that form? That means do you have the right to command the form in this way? May my form be thus. May my form not be thus. Can we say the form in direction of our will? No. Can we? Who and Lee? What do you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah. If basically the Buddha tried to relate the form it's myself with the story here. If we have the power over the form, right, then we should say the form in certain way, not in certain way, right? We should have that power, but that is not the case. Okay, so does that help you, Tammy?
Yes, that's helpful.
Okay, go Wang Lý, go ahead and you read that. Okay.
Then the blessed one said to Mr. Now Ajivasana, This is not the time to be silent. When anyone doesn't answer when asked a legitimate question by the Tathagata, up to 3 times his head splits into 7 pieces right here. Now on that occasion, the spirit, Vajrapanin, carrying an iron thunderbolt, was poised in the air above Sakaka, the Niganta sun. If Sakaka, the Niganta sun, doesn't answer, then ask a legitimate question by the Blessed One up to 3 times. I will split his head into 7 pieces right here. The Blessed One saw the spirit, that Javin Panin, as did Sakaka, the Niganta son. So Sakaka, afraid, terrified, his hair standing on end, seeking shelter seeking asylum in the, seeking refuge in the Blessed One, said to the Blessed One, let Master Gautama ask me, I will answer. What do you think, Agivesana? When you say form is myself, do you will power over that form? May my form be thus? May my form not be thus? No, Master Gautama. Pay attention. Sana, answer only after having paid attention. What you said after isn't consistent with what you said before, nor is what you said before consistent with what you said after. What do you think, Ajivesana, when you say feeling is myself, perception is myself, applications are myself, consciousness is myself? Do you will power over that consciousness? May my consciousness be thus, may my consciousness not be thus. No, Master Gautama.
Oh, okay, good. What do you think about this?
So finally, the Buddha basically convinced him that, and then he had agreed that the 5 aggregates, are inconstant. Pretty much, and after a little bit of a threat that, that if he doesn't answer, his head's going to be split in 7. But he basically able to convince him and get him to agree. And I think the important part is the, when you're saying feeling is myself, perception is myself, fabrication is myself, etc. Do you will power over that consciousness? I think it's important because you can't. You don't have the power over that consciousness.
Do you notice that? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, Buddha pushed him against a corner. It was get him to agree because he ran out of ideas.
Okay, so basically, the way the Buddha debated, use the same technique that the debater asked. He used the same way to do it, but in the opposite way. So that's the very big technique. So that means he repeat the same question, and to make sure that he the one who answer for himself, not the Buddha. That's
Right.
important. That is very important. So that means he acknowledged that at the beginning he will have a wrong view. That is the most important. Okay. Okay, that's good. I think we can learn a little bit. We have few minutes. Okay. Thang Thiện, go ahead.
Pay attention, Agivesana, and answer only after having paid attention. What you said after is consistent with what you said before. Now, knowing what you said before, consistent with what you said after. What do you think, Agivesana, when you say feeling is myself, perception is myself, fabrication of myself, consciousness is myself? you wield power over that consciousness? May my consciousness be thus, may my consciousness not be thus. No, Master Gautama, pay attention, Gavisana, and answer only after having paid attention. What you said after, is it consistent with what you said before? Nor is what you said before consistent of what you said after. What do you think, Gavisana? Reform consent or inconsent? Inconsent.
Okay, we can stop right here. Do you know what is the constant and inconstant, right? You know the
Consent is the same.
no
Inconsent,
no in this teaching context, constant mean permanent.
okay. Permanent.
Inconstant mean impermanent.
Impermanent. Yes.
Right. So I don't know why they use this word, but anyway, that's how we understand it. Okay. So basically, what do you think?
What he's saying, what he said before, that he disagreed with the Buddha before, and right now he agreed with what the Buddha said. So what he said before is not the same as what he said now. Now is he yeah.
He contradict himself, right?
Yes.
That's what the Buddha tried to make sure that he accepted the contradiction of himself. So basically, also because when he's that means he also acknowledged all the five aggregates. It's not myself, right? That means there is no self. It's a non-self, basically. And also the next thing is that the Buddha said that, well, form is constant or inconstant. Basically, he said inconstant. That means impermanent. The same thing. Okay. The next one is, if that which inconstant is full or stressful, basically it's stressful. Why was that? Because we know that the form or the five aggregates, basically when we go down here, the Buddha will repeat the same thing anyway. The five aggregates, they are inconstant, and when they are inconstant, it's stressful. Basically, when the reason is when we have the emotion, right? All right. And we know that those things, the feeling it's impermanent, come and go. And when we holding on those emotions at the self, right, we will suffer. That's what is stressful means. That makes sense, right? We will go through this deeply next time with the emotional model, and I think it will be good. Tammy, you understand so far, right?
Yes, I understand.
So this is the and if we always contemplate in the way that the Buddha teaching here, the less suffering we will have. If done, we will have more suffering. So the whole purpose of learning this thing is we do to this thing, we have the right discernment. Discernment, that means the right understanding. Okay. Therefore, we have less suffering. Okay. Or up to the point that we will free from suffering. That's the whole idea. Okay. Let's stop right here. Okay, John, go ahead and sorry. Go ahead.
May every living being, our mind as one and radiant of light, share the fruits of peace for a heart of goodness, luminous and bright. The people here in Seattle, hands hard confining, giving unity in their minds a way to great compassion, wisdom, and joy. May kindness find reward, may also relieve their grief and pain. May its balanced light break the darkness of the endless night. Cause our hearts so one, this word of pain turn to paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Good, thank you. So basically, when we learn about